So mindset, number one, focus on just inputs, don't focus on outputs. The second one is we're talking about authenticity. When you look at a chart, for example, of this idea of the yogis and the Hindu masters talking about enlightenment, and they talk about the different chakras and all these energy things, and okay, you read it and you wonder, and then you begin to do some research, and like, okay, there must be some science or some facts attached to this stuff, and there must be some intelligent people researching these things. It can't just be me that's curious. So I come across a study, and I'm like, okay, let me start reading it. And it's a study with the acronym SPAIN. It's an experiment that they did over 20 years, a span of over 20 years, which is the scale of positive and negative emotion. So what they did is they put individuals inside a Faraday cage. It was for those people that don't know what a Faraday cage is, this cage made with different aluminums and different metals that basically block any sort of Wi-Fi signal, any sort of frequency to come into that box. And then they began prompting people with what? With different tasks, different mindsets, different thoughts, different questions to determine one thing, the vibrational frequency that their body was kind of operating on when they gave certain responses. So whether it was positive frequency or negative frequency. So for example, let's say they prompted, disgust or anger inside of the person. Well, clearly they could tell that it was a lower vibrational frequency. So like, okay, interesting. So let's prompt some positive stuff. And they were like, oh, this is higher vibration. I'm like, oh, interesting. Because the body naturally reacts to your emotions. There's chemistry taking place when your emotions are kicking in. So when you have a negative thought, you're not just having a negative thought. There's an entire process attached to that.
Energy going out.
It's putting you in a different frequency. So the question is, okay, well, what's the best frequency to be in? If this is the scale of positive and negative emotions, I want to be at the highest scale of positive emotions. So what is the highest form of frequency that I can abide in? So that was the question that these scientists were asking. And if you start looking at, these yogi charts, you begin to see, greed, lust at the bottom, then anger, then you see love and gratitude. And then at the top, you see what? Enlightenment. Well, what is enlightenment? Okay, make that practical for me. Like, everybody talks about enlightenment, but what is enlightenment? So they began prompting people, and they found that above what we often know as the highest form of frequency, or what everybody talks about, which is love, that's what everybody talks about, the highest form, the highest form of energy. They found that there was a frequency that made people vibrate 400 times more powerful than the vibrational frequency of love. And it was the vibrational frequency of authenticity. To become the truest version of yourself with no lies is to vibrate at the highest form that you can possibly vibrate at.
God, I love that. So true.
Giving you a sense of peace, equanimity, and truthfulness. And all the baggage doesn't exist because you don't have to wear a mask. Therefore, you can be who you